Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. It's Vanessa here. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I know it's been a minute, but in today's tutorial we're going to be making this lovely crochet sweater that can be customized in any way and any color. But before we start the video, I have some announcements to make, so let's get right into that first.
Hey, so I just want to give this announcement. This tutorial is not beginner friendly. I'm sorry if this is probably your first ever crochet project. I'm sorry, this will not be that beginner friendly of a tutorial. This tutorial entails that you have some sort of knowledge in crochet, so you go ahead and probably check out other beginner friendly videos, then come and make this sweater. I promise this sweater is easy to follow. The stitch is breathable. It's not the normal straight double crochet. It is a double crochet stitch, but it's a V stitch. It's breathable. You can wear it summer or winter, I think, yeah. So that's the sweater over there, by the way. It's hanging. It is on here with this bag. This is the sweater. I've just got it on my mannequin with this blue crochet dress I made. So that is the sweater here, the bag, and that's the crochet hat over there. So I'm just giving the tutorial just for the sweater, not for like the writing on it and whatever, but I'm going to link down in the description box the YouTube video I used to make the lettering. I did switch it up a bit for it to suit me, but I'm going to give you guys the tutorial anyway. But I believe that if you're doing crochet, if you do look at somebody's tutorial or whatever, if copying it is not possible for you, because some people put in the comment section that, oh, your instructions are not clear, then I think it's also right for you to use your head to make it work for you. If the person is, because it's hard making these tutorials. Sometimes we try to make it that go over 1 hour, because sometimes over explaining is not making sense anymore, and obviously under explaining is not nice, but you get what I mean. Yeah, so let's get right into the video, and I'm going to show you guys the measurements first. So see ya. Right, to make a basic crochet sweater, I'm just going to give you the measurements that you need to make your own sweater. Just grab your measuring tape. You're going to take your shoulder to shoulder measurements. If you want to make a sweater that's a bit loose, I'll just say you should drop from your shoulder by about ½ an inch. So you put your measuring tape like so, drop your shoulder to like ½ an inch. For me, mine is about 18.5 inches, because I really like a bit loose sweaters, especially if you're going to block it later. It's going to expand anyway, but if you're not blocking it, just do like just a bit of a drip from your shoulders. Then the next measurement you are going to need is from your shoulder to wherever you want your sweater to end. So my sweater unstretched was about, I think, 22 inches, I think. Yeah, 23 inches. So you can put it to like here, or just to make things easier for you, just find your favorite sweater and measure it with a measuring tape, then go ahead and use those measurements to do your crochet. But let's continue. We have the shoulder measurement that is going to be for the front and the back panel, and then there's the front and back panels width, then we have the front and back panels length. Then for the front panel, you are going to measure about 4 inches each. For the top part, like to separate where the neckline is, it should be about 4 inches. I think 4 inches is great, so do 4 inches there. Then for the sleeve, this is how I measure my sleeve. I hold on to the tape right here, stretch my arm out, and then to where the droop of my shoulder is, my sleeve will be about 18 inches. As you can see, that is about 18 inches. Yeah, so that's how many. So we got this, we got this. Oh, you got the armhole. You need your armhole measurements. I know I'm doing this like in a sort of way. You need your armhole measurements. Now do your armhole measurements as loose as you want it to be. Just take your armhole measurements, then do it like a straight long panel. So my own armhole measurements, I am so sorry. My armhole measurements is about 15 inches for the top arm. Then you cinch your sleeves depending on how fitted you want it to be on your wrist. It's not compulsory to measure this part, but if you want a measurement, yeah. So go ahead and cinch your sleeves to be like that. So that's about 8 inches for my sleeve. So I just thought to give you guys my measurements. I'm a very petite girl. I know sometimes it helps to give like a real person's measurements when you're doing the video, but most of my tutorials are measurement based. So go ahead and measure yourself the way I've shown you, then you're going to get your sweater right. So let's get right into the video. Let's get started with the materials. Now you're just going to need yarn. You're going to use whatever color yarn you've got. I'm using orange. It was the main color that I used for this video, so go ahead and use your orange yarn, or whatever color you have, obviously. I'm having a tape measure, some stitch markers, those are important. You're going to have a scissors, and of course your crochet needle. So I use a 3mm. This project is measurement based, so use whatever yarn you've got and the crochet hook that works with that yarn. Okay, don't go buy new stuff. I'm not all for that. Okay, so you're just going to start that project by doing a chain
doing a slip knot, then you're going to chain your shoulder measurements, plus 5. So an even number for your shoulder measurements plus 5 stitches. Then you are going to do a double crochet into the 6th stitch. Then you chain 1, and not a chain 2 there, but chain 1, and you're going to do another double crochet into that same stitch. That is going to give you your first V stitch. Then you're going to skip 2 chains or 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in the 3rd you are going to do another double crochet. Do a double crochet there, chain 1. Then into that same stitch you're going to do another double crochet. That is your second V stitch. Okay, so I'm just doing like a swatch so you guys can see. Then you're going to skip 3, and into the 3rd chain or the 3rd stitch you do a double crochet, chain 1, then you do another double crochet into that same stitch. So you're going to do this until you get to the end of your chain that you did. Yeah, remember we are chaining. This is the shoulder to shoulder measurement. This is the width of your sweater. So do that until you get to the end. Now at the end of your sweater you should be left with 3 chains. You're just going to do another V stitch with 3 stitches. You're going to do another V stitch, do 1 double crochet to the last stitch, chain 1, and another double crochet into that last stitch. If you're left with 2 stitches, just do it there. It's not going to make much of a difference. Then you're going to chain 3, turn your work, my darling. Then you're going to go into the chain 1 space from the previous row and do 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet into that chain 1 space. Repeat the same thing. Go to the chain 1 space into the next V stitch from the previous row, do 1 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 double crochet again. Then this is basically the pattern. It's a 1 row repeat type of pattern. Double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces. So you're just going to repeat all of that until you get to the end, and I'm going to show you how to work the end of your work, and from there it's just going to be smooth sailing until you get all your panels done, your front, back, and your sleeves. Right, now we're at the end. This is how you end your work. You just go into the last V stitch from the previous row, and that is basically it. I already did it. So you're not going to go into the chain 5. Don't do that. Don't go into the chain 5 there. Just chain 3, turn your work, then into the V stitch from the previous row you do 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, then you repeat the stitch throughout until you get the length of your sweater that you want. I showed you guys my measurements. Do yours for as long as you want. If you want this to be a crop sweater, you do it shorter. It is that easy, honestly, when it's measurement based instead of when the tutorial, I feel, this is me of course, but I feel like if a tutorial is measurement based, it's going to suit you better, okay, than me making what is for me instead. Yeah, so mine was about 22.5 inches stretched to about 23, and I blocked it so it got even longer. So if you plan on blocking your sweater, just keep the measurements in mind, and you block it to how stretched you want it, obviously. Yeah, so I was done with the back panel. So the way I crochet my sweaters, I do back panel first, then it helps me to figure out how I want the front panel to look like, because my front panel and back panels are never the same, as in the neckline. They're never the same. Sometimes I might change my mind to do a V neckline, a round neckline, square neckline. Yeah, so I'm just showing you guys like the measurements here. And I'll really say, when you're watching tutorials like this, please pay attention. Don't just do things stitch by stitch. Watch these tutorials to actually understand what is going on, so that if you don't understand something, you actually ask yourself, okay, how can I work this out in my favor? Yeah, so I just think that's how tutorials should go. Yeah, I'm sorry for talking too much. Yeah, so I just finished the back panel. Now you're just going to do the same thing for the front panel, and your front panel, like I said, you measure 4 inches for that extra extension at the top. So you're going to, so let's just give an example. If you have 20 inches for the length of your sweater, you are going to crochet 16 inches for the length of your sweater. Then the remaining 4 inches are going to be for the raised up sides, that's going to form the neckline. So that's just how the maths of the front of the sweater works. So if you're finished with your back panel, obviously you start your front panels the same way until you get to
the number of rows that you have to do till is left 4 inches to match the back panel. I hope that made sense. So this is how I do my neckline, and I'm doing sort of a roundish neckline. I'm just going to fold my sweater in half, making sure that all the stitches align, and I'm going to put a stitch marker in the middle stitch. So I just fold it in half, count the stitches, make sure that they align, and then I am going to do a 3-inch gap in both sides from that stitch marker in the middle. You can do 3 inches, 4 inches, however you want, but just make sure that the neckline is not too big. I actually made mine too big in this video, which is why I had to do a neckline reduction of sorts, and I'm going to show that as well. So if you check, mine was about, I made each side to be about 3.5 inches. That was actually way too big, yeah. So 3.5 inches for the square, and I'm just making sure I have the same number of stitches on each side of the middle stitch marker. Then I'm just going to continue my project of the V stitch. I'm just going to be crocheting until I get to the stitch marker, the first stitch marker. Then I'm going to just let you guys watch till I get there. Right, the way I do my neckline, I just get to about the last 2 stitches, the stitch before the stitch marker and the stitch that has the stitch marker in it, and then I sort of do 1 stitch. It's like a decrease, it's like a stitch decrease. That's what I do in those 2 places. But if this is hard to understand, I'll just say you should do like a straight when you get to that stitch marker, you just chain 3 and turn around and go back and forth till you have it straight. But the way I design my sweaters, I like it to have like a curve in a way, so that's why I do those decreases when I get to that stitch marker. So you're just going to do a decrease, and that will entail you doing 2 stitches together when you get to the end, get to that stitch marker point. Okay, so that's just what I did. I just decrease, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm just going to work the V stitch normally back to the end. And I know that sounds a bit complicated, so I'm just going to tell you, when you get to where the stitch marker is, you put your V stitch there, just do chain 3, then turn your work, then you do the regular V stitches until you get to the number of rows that's going to match the back panel. I think that makes more sense. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on how I do just necklines, I can do like a video of showing you how to do different necklines for crochet sweaters. Just let me know, with necklines and their ribbings obviously. Just let me know if you're interested in that sort of video, and I'm going to do like an in-depth tutorial of that. Yeah, so I'm just going to go back and forth just like that till I've got the height that is going to the number of rows that matches the height of the back panel. Yeah, so the remaining inches that needs to match the back panel. So I'm just going to let you guys watch. Okay, let me show you how my decreases work. So I'm just putting a stitch marker there to remind me of where row 1 is. So as you can see, I have 1 stitch left right there. So I'm just going to put like a V stitch in there, and I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. This is the way I do it. And then I am going to do like a V stitch again. Instead of doing like a chain 3, I'm just going to chain 1, turn my work, and then I am going to go back, do a V stitch back. Okay, so that curve just makes like, it just adds more, I don't know, gives me more of a curved neckline. But like I said, a square neckline is fine as well. You can have a square neckline, then make it curved later when you're doing the ribbing or when you're doing the reduction. So if you notice, my sweater has some sort of a curve instead of like a straight side. That is what I mean when I say I like my sweaters to look like that. So I just did all the required rows that I needed, and I'm just counting the number of rows, and I'm going to repeat the exact same thing on the other side of the front panel. I'm just going to attach my yarn, and I'm going to raise the other side of the front panel as well. So it's a repeat, obviously it's a repeat.
of the other side. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, then I'll show you guys what to do next. If you do not understand anything, please ask me questions in the comment section and I am going to answer them. Please, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share the video, tell me what you think. This just helps to boost the channel and make other people see it. If you've got any requests, leave them down in the comment section as well. Okay, so right here I'm just finishing with the neckline on the other side, and this is how it's looking like. Just snipping everything off, and yeah, we got two raised sides of the neckline. This is how the neckline is looking from afar. If you see, it's a bit curved, like I said, and I'm just doing the measurements. So the total measurements for my neckline is about 7 inches. Honestly, make it smaller if you can, about 6 inches. That's going to be fine. So after you've got your front and back panel, obviously you're going to go ahead and do the sleeve. Remember our measurements for our upper arm for the sleeve. Go ahead and measure yours, and then you do like a straight rectangle. My sleeve was a total of about 13 and a half inches, because I knew I wanted to stretch it out later, like stretch it out a lot. So I usually just arrange the measurements as I crochet, depending on how I want to block it later. So go ahead and do 2 sleeves, and then the next part is stitching everything together, and I'm going to show you guys how to stitch it from the floor. So this is what your project should look like. This is how you should lay it down. That's a front panel, back panel, and our 2 sleeves right there, right? So you're going to stitch the front and the back panel first, each side first, then you're going to stitch the sleeves just as I am showing. So this is just a general way of me showing you guys. I am going to show you guys how to stitch it, then I'll show it on my body how it looks like, just so you can have a visual. So make sure you pinch to the both right sides of your sweater should be together, and then you're just going to single crochet to stitch. And I didn't show it, but you're just going to single crochet to stitch. I'm going to show you. So when you do stitch it, this is how it should look like on your body. It looks more of like a cape. I don't know if I should call it cape, but when you stitch the top side, front and back together, this is how it's supposed to look like. Yeah, I just thought to show you guys like the visuals. After stitching the front and back panel together, the next part is the sleeve. So take your sleeve, fold it in 2, just the way I'm showing, and attach it with a stitch marker or a thread or whatever to the seam from the front and the back panel, and that is going to show you like the midpoint of where your sweater is. Then you're just going to arrange it so that it is equal on both sides, one side on the front, one side on the back. Make sure that the front sides of the front and back panel and the sleeves are touching each other before you single crochet to join them together. I prefer single crochet to join crochet projects. There are times that I sew the pieces together, so use whatever joining method is fine with you. Yeah, so you just go ahead and you sew both sides of the sleeves together. Then I'm just going to show you guys how I actually single crochet the sleeves, or whichever part. I'm going to show you guys right now. So this is us on the table again. I'm just going to put my sweater flat like this. Just make sure that the right side of the sweater is facing you. Right now is the wrong side facing me. I'm just going to flip it like this. The right side of the sweater is facing me, of the front and back panel. Right side is facing me. Then I'm going to bring in the panel. Remember I said fold it in half like so. Grab a stitch marker, a piece of yarn or whatever you want to use. Just make sure it's the center of the sleeve. Then you're just going to attach that center that you've made to the seam that's joining the front and the back panel. So that's my stitch marker right there. Still make sure that the front panel, the right side of the sleeve is touching the right sides of the front and back panel. So I'm just going to attach my stitch marker there to hold that in place, just like that. Then I am going to make sure I have even number of rows of attachment for the front panel to the sleeve, and the same thing at the back panel. So I'm not going to stretch out the sleeve too much. I am just going to place it and wherever it lands I attach a stitch marker to it just to make sure that it stays in place and it's not moving around when I start single crocheting together. I'm just counting like the number of rows on this side of the front panel. I'm making sure I've got equal amount of rows for the back panel, and I'm going to put another stitch marker there just to make sure everything's nice and equal. So I'm just going to let you guys watch this entire process because I realized that I'm actually talking too much. And when you're done, you're going to go ahead and attach your yarn on one side, then you're just going to single crochet. So this is how I do the single crochet. It's basically the same thing that I did for attaching the front and the back panels together. So you single crochet, making sure you're going under every stitch just for a seamless, like a nice and seamless join. Okay, so when you're done with attaching the sleeves on both sides, then you're going to join the sleeve, the length of the sleeve to the and the body of the sweater, not to and the body of the sweater. So I'm just putting a stitch marker on the tips of the sleeve, on the arm, under the arm or the armpit side. Then I'm putting another stitch marker at the bottom. So I'm just doing all of these to hold them in place. Okay, so this is how I do my joining. I just find it easier to join this way. Front and back panel first, sleeve onto the front and back panel, then I crochet down the sides from the sleeve to the front, then joining the front and back panel. So I'm just placing stitch markers all over the project, and then I'm going to single crochet to join everything together, nice and easy. Honestly, this is a very simple way to do a sweater. You can do this if you're making a top. This is a very simple way to attach stuff. If you're making even a short sleeve top, you can do this. If you're making whatever, honestly, you can do this. So I'm going to attach my yarn, then I'm going to single crochet down the entire project, and I'm going to let you guys watch so I'm not talking too much. Now just make sure that you're going into each and every stitch as you're crocheting. Get into every stitch and make sure that the stitches line up. And this is what your project should look like when you're done joining everything together. It looks like a proper sweater. That was after I steam blocked it. Anyway, we are going on to the part, this part. After steam blocking, my neckline increased. So this is where, like I said, I was going to do like a reduction. Now if you've got a wide neckline for whatever reason, perhaps you didn't calculate properly, this is what you should do in order to reduce the neckline. So you're just going to attach your yarn, and then you are going to start basically joining 2 stitches together. That is it. That is how I do my neckline reductions. So I just go in like doing decreases into every stitch in order to reduce the neckline. So you see me putting my fishing line and doing like a single crochet decrease in every stitch. And usually when I get to like that demarcation where how do I put it, remember that curve of the neckline that I told you guys that I like to do? Yeah, when I get to that part, I do like 4 single crochet. So that's like 1 2 3. I do like 3 or 4 decreases, and that just rounds up. That's like 4 right there. So what that does, it just rounds up that neckline, especially if your neckline was a square. If it was like a sharp square, it just makes that neckline to be a bit more rounder. Okay, then after that I do like between 2 or 3. In this case I did 3 single crochets with no decreases. So this just helps to relax the decrease that I did, just so it doesn't, the neckline doesn't look too scrunched up and it doesn't look natural. So I just go ahead and I do like normal single crochets. Yeah, then I'll go ahead to do my normal decreases again until I get to that sharp point. If yours is a sharp point, that means it was a good square. Then if yours was a curve point, it means you probably did decreases like me. When I get to that point, I do the 4 single crochet decreases again. So this just takes the neckline from looking wide and it reduces it a lot, and that is good. It's a good thing. Okay, yeah, so you just go ahead and do that. When you get to that sharp point, you just go ahead and do that. You can do like a 3 double crochet decrease, 4, depending on how wide you want your neckline to be. I did do a neckline reduction tutorial. I think it was about 2 years ago. I did a tutorial here, so if you want to watch that, that's fine. Or if you want another one, you let me know. Tell me in the comment section if you've done a wide neckline and you just want me to do like a short video on how to reduce it that is more in depth. Let me know down in the comment section. I'll do that tutorial ASAP. Yeah, okay, when I have time. Let me not say that. Yeah, so you're just going to go ahead with your normal reductions on till you get back to where you started. So we're doing this reduction all around the neckline, and I'm going to let you guys keep watching. Right, so when you're done, you're going to slip stitch to join from where you started. Then you're going to snip off the yarn, and as you can see, my neckline has reduced quite a lot. And then the next thing we're going to reduce is the sleeve, obviously. And not obviously, but if you don't want like a large sleeve, if you want your sleeve to be cinched in a bit, you're going to reduce it. And the way I did this reduction this time, I did like a single crochet decrease in every other stitch. So I'm going to start off by doing a decrease just like that, single crochet 2 together. Then I'm going to do 1 single crochet, then single crochet 2 together again. That is 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet, just like that. That's the pattern I use to decrease the sleeve. It's not compulsory. You can have flared sleeves, you can do whatever type of sleeve that you do, but I just wanted the sleeve to be a bit on the puffy end, so that's why I do these decreases. And when you're finished, you're going to slip stitch to join the row together, chain 1 and cut off your yarn. And this is how the sleeve is going to be looking like. You're going to tuck in, obviously you're supposed to be tucking in all your ends as you work. Honestly, that is easier than waiting to the end of the project to fit in on all your ends. Trust me on this. Yeah, so I'm cutting off the excess, and this is what the sleeve looks like. You're going to see the difference. So this is what it looks like on my fingers. That is, the left side is cinched in and the right side is nice and flat. So pick your sleeve. Honestly, the thing with crochet is you can do whatever you want with the projects. You don't have to copy exactly what I did, but I'm just showing you guys tips and tricks. So this is how the 2 sides are looking like, close to each other. The cinched sleeve is looking good, and this is how both look like when they've been cinched in. Oh, nice and cute. Right, so obviously you're cinching in both ends, and it is optional, but you can cinch in the bottom of your sweater as well. And for the ribbing of this sweater, honestly, I was just going very simple for this sweater. I used the fur yarn that I showed in the beginning, and all I did was single crochet the fur yarn into every stitch for the neckline, the 2 sleeves, and the bottom, and that was the end of my ribbing for the for the sweater. You can go ahead and you do normal ribbings of single crochet or double crochet or whatever ribbings that you like, or even front and back post double crochet for a ribbing, but I was honestly going simple. Like I said, this is a simple sweater, okay? So I just did single crochet for the ribbing till I got to the end. That was it. So just go ahead and do single crochets all around the neckline, all around the cinched in sleeves and the bottom as well. So you can do single crochet for the ribbing. I started off doing single crochet, then I saw that it was too short, so I decided to do double crochet for the ribbing as well. Double crochet for the ribbing as well. Double crochet for the ribbing because I wanted the ribbing to be a bit on the taller side. So I did double crochet for the ribbing, for the sleeve, the bottom, and the neckline. And honestly, that was the end of the project. This is how it turned out. I'm going to leave the link of the YouTube video that I used to make the letters. You can do whatever shapes or letters or writing that you want on the sweater. That is up to you, but that's it for this video. Honestly, this was a fun project to do. I called it the Yahweh crochet outfit because I made a matching bucket hat. I made like a bag with it and all of that because I was trying to put the name of my father, Yahweh, God, I am that I am, on it. And yeah, so I wanted to wear it. Since I'm a crocheter, I wasn't sure how to represent like my faith, and this is what came to me. So yeah, tell me what you think that in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. Tell me what you want me to do, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.